We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
I like the way you ride with that booty on me.
It's going down.
Go down while you looking lonely.
It's going down.
Come around and it's all on me.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
So, new year, new intro. Let's get it. I'm not so sure if I'm going to promise to be a brand new me this year, but my reactions are going to be a lot differently. I'm not going to be doing the most. I'm not going to be doing above and beyond, and I'm going to stay in my lane. That is how 2026 is going to be from here out. Either roll with me or I'm going to roll over you or around you. Whichever is easier.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Song like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I would be stupid if we not on it.
Watch me flex. So, I'm not really that surprised that I feel so much better now that I juice. But I did notice one of the things, like, once I consistently drink my hot lemon water and my rosemary ginger tea, I start to feel kind of hungry. It's because actually it's a sign that my metabolism is actually powering up. It's not that sluggish, I'm kind of hungry. This is generally I'm hungry kind of vibe. So why do I feel hungry? Warm lemon water and ginger tea, rosemary ginger tea, they actually add carminatives that stimulate the production of stomach acid and bile. This prepares your GI tract for what your brain interprets as honey, and that makes sense. I think my reflux is a little bit worse, so here we go. Rosemary and ginger help improve insulin sensitivity. This is as your body becomes more efficient at moving glucose into cells. Your blood sugar stabilizes, which can trigger a clean hunger signal rather than a sluggish craving. These drinks are hydrating and mildly diuretic. They help to flush your system. Your stomach empties of overnight fluids, making you more physically aware of its emptiness. Got that right. I basically, this morning, now that my garden is at the point where I can actually harvest greens from it, I'm combining them with cranberries that basically I'm creating a powerful synergy to dampen meta-inflammation. Cucumbers contain fisetin, a specialized anti-inflammatory flavonoid that has been studied for its ability to protect nerve cells from age-related decline and reduce the static of systemic inflammation. That means I'm going to need to either do one or two things. I'm actually need to either start growing them on my outside garden, as long as I haven't really roached or froze up the pump, and get this going. Celery is a natural vasodilatator due to the phthalate. It helps to lower blood pressure and reduce the workload on my heart. Kale is high in sulfur-containing compounds that are essential for body to produce glutathione, the master antioxidant that neutralizes free radicals before they can trigger an inflammatory response. Swiss chard, which I have not added. I didn't add. So I have some on my garden, but I haven't used any of it yet. I'm probably going to cook that with some garlic later and eat that later. But Swiss chard, that is, provides a powerful antioxidant to support specifically liver detox and protecting blood cells. And ginger has gingerols, which inhibit the synthesis of pro-inflammatory cytokines. It's particularly effective at reducing gut-based inflammation. Cranberries are rich in pro-anthocyanins, which prevent bacteria from sticking to cell walls. When juiced with your greens, cranberries provide a massive dose of vitamin C and polyphenols that support urinary tract and cardiovascular health. My recipe, I'm going to modify this. A modified version of this is going to be in the podcast notes, as well as some additions of good fats that basically act as a way to slow down digestion and also enhance the power of the garden greens. Basically keeps you from wanting to punch somebody in the face because you're hangry. You could add a half an avocado, in addition to the addition of pink Himalaya salts and the black pepper that I added, because the pink Himalaya salt balances trace minerals and electrolytes, and the black pepper increases the bioavailability of anti-inflammatory compounds. But when you mix up maybe a bit of the avocado with walnuts or hemp seeds and chia seeds, and as well as pumpkin seeds, these all add great and a tasty dynamic that helps you manage inflammation, which is associated with being a big back and decreasing metabolic stress.
Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. Online, on time, oh so bold. Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away.
Hallelujah, 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 if you are petty, you don't have to get petty. Petty little, petty little. If you are petty, you don't have to get petty. Look, I usually don't have the bandwidth to play catch the crazy with whatever is coming out of this racist administration. Honestly, I really just don't give a damn. And I usually don't have the time for it. But you don't get to mouth breathe in the direction of President Obama or First Lady Obama without me having to sit and give my take. Look, sending out hateful racist manifestos in the guise of stupid meme videos at 4 o'clock in the morning isn't just a coward move. It actually is a medical red flag, y'all. Normal people, even busy people like myself, are getting their rest. But here you are, hunched over a glowing screen in the dead of night like an old man lost in the basement. This 4 a.m. insomnia isn't hard work, it's failing health. It's the behavior of someone whose mind is racing because it can't keep up with the day anymore. It's the sundowning effect. Let me repeat that. Sundowning effect playing out on a global stage. At this point, it's clear. Your brain is writing checks your body can't cash. We see the slurred words, the confusion, and the midnight tantrums. If your own family had any heart, or the rest of the Republican administration, they quit worrying about the next photo op and take your phone away before you further embarrass what's left of their legacy. They out here now reacting that, oh, how can he do this to us? Because he don't give a damn. He said that when he ran the first time. This latest episode of the racist and fascists is just another tired diversionary tactic to hide the fact that this current occupant of the White House is physically and mentally slipping. If this was your way of trying to distract us from your massive limitations, your questionable health, and the fact that the international community views you as a liability, nice try. You wanted to activate people. Congrats, we're awake. But we aren't going to forget that you're just a representation of a stupid, bigoted fossil. You only have power because you're a temporary occupant of the White House. You are forgettable and you are regrettable. It never fails to amaze me how racists will literally cut off their own noses just to spite their face. You think people are going to keep buying the negativity while they're struggling to survive your leadership? Prices are quadruple what they were a year ago. Evictions and foreclosures are at a breaking point. You let the Obamacare subsidies expire, causing premiums to hit an all-time high for the very people who voted for you. Look, when Grandpa starts yelling at the TV at 4 a.m. about people who haven't lived in the house for 10 years, you call the doctor. We don't give him the keys to the car. You're out here obsessing over the Obamas because they're healthy, happy, and respected, while you're up in the middle of the night fighting ghosts. You're not an alpha man, you're exhausted. Go get a checkup and leave the country alone. Then we got this bullshit documentary. Listen, isn't it poetic justice? A documentary drops about a certain former side piece who was the side piece of a pedophile, now married to the current pedophile occupying the White House, to empty seats and trash reviews, while Michelle Obama's becoming 6 years later is streaming back to number one. People are tired of this 4 a.m. fever dream and failing health of a bigot. We're turning back to the Obamas because we want to remember what it's like to have a president who actually sleeps at night because his conscience is clear. Now, I need to keep it a buck. While this fool is over here playing president on the internet, most of us are really trying to just pay the ComEd or electricity bill. You tried to make the Obamas look small, but all you did was make them look like the good old days. You got people rewatching this documentary just to remember what it was to feel like to have a first lady who actually liked being around us and didn't fly back to Europe in her private jet because she couldn't stand to be around regular people. Those empty seats, they're not poor marketing, bro. They're just the streets telling you that nobody's buying what you're selling. You're a luxury nobody can afford and a headache that we don't want. So just please have a seat and leave us the F alone because we're tired, bro. We're tired. And it's so crazy. You're like a payphone in 2026. Nobody's got use for you. And you're just taking up space on the corner. You keep talking noise while we keep looking at our bank accounts. And all of this nonsense, we still see you. You doing more harm than good, but you're still not good at deflecting from chaos or writing the checks or your raid on the dollar. None of this nonsense is not going to deflect from the fact that your base can afford eggs. And those are just the facts, bro. So what, and this is rich that you're doing this stupid racist crap in the Blackest Month. You talk about opposite results. Let's just check this right now. It is February 2026. This administration is still up at 4 a.m. with fever dreams and attacking black excellence while we're celebrating elsewhere. You attacked the greatest president in the world during Black History Month. Okay, bro. PBS is doing what it always does, rolling out incredible documentary stories and educational programs about Black history, art, and culture. They're shining a light on true heroes and trailblazers, quietly, powerfully, and with genuine respect. That is why I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and I am shocked that I've never tackled this before. The real people, from in the community centers to the classrooms, from social media feeds like mine to family gatherings, Black History Month is being honored. People are sharing stories, amplifying voices, and uplifting the communities this administration tries to tear down in the dead of night. And yes, this dumbass administration, they're too busy tweeting insults at the Obamas, fixated on perceived threats, and lost in a cycle of negativity. But then here come the allies, the Clintons, ready to put all of y'all bitches on blast. When this administration is really just lost in just a cycle of negativity. They're not just ignoring Black History Month. They're actively working against this spirit by attacking prominent Black folks. It's a missed opportunity. It's glaring. It's shameful. Look, real talk. Let's keep it a buck. While y'all are up at 4 a.m. throwing shade, PBS is out here dropping knowledge. The people are celebrating greatness, remembering where we came from, and building for tomorrow. While you're stuck in the past, obsessed with who you think you hate, while the world moves on. You want to know why you're forgettable? Because while we're celebrating Black history, you're trying to erase it. That's not just a failure. That is your legacy. Good luck explaining that one, bitch. Good luck. So I'm not sure if I actually caught all of this. I may have to listen to the end of it and cut and chop it up. But this is the contrast. we're in the blackity of Blackest Month. You talk about opposites. Just let's check out what's going on right now. The administration is up having 4 o'clock fever dreams, attacking black excellence while the rest of the country is actually celebrating. PBS is doing what it always does. It is rolling out incredible documentaries like the one about Monte Cristo, that while I'm reading it now, and other great stories. Educational programs about black history, art, and culture. They're shining light on true heroes and trailblazers, quietly, powerfully, and with genuine respect. The real people, by the masses, are in from the community centers and classrooms, from social media feeds to family gatherings. Black History Month is being honored. People are sharing stories, amplifying voices, and uplifting the very communities this administration tries to tear down in the dead of night. And the administration, they're too busy tweeting insults at the Obamas, fixed on perceived threats and lost in a cycle of negativity. They're not just ignoring Black History Month, they're actively working against its spirit by attacking black figures. It's not just a missed opportunity, it's a glaring, shameful silence. But then we got true allies like the Clintons that are really ready to bring that smoke. Y'all don't want the smoke. We tried, you tried. Y'all just should have elected Hillary instead of this fool. But no. Now here we go. Epstein files, get ready to put this fool on blast. Real talk, while you're up at 4 a.m. throwing shade, PBS is out here dropping knowledge. The people are celebrating greatness, remembering where we came from, and building for tomorrow. While you're stuck in the past, obsessed with who you think you hate. While the world moves on without you, you want to know why you're forgettable. Because while we're celebrating Black history, you're trying to erase it. That's not just a failure, bro. That's your legacy. And good luck explaining that one, bitch. Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Where's to know and where's to grow, a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. So I did not expect, and I keep talking about this, I did not expect to really like the book, Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo, as much as I have. So I'm going to continue to try to tackle as much of this 1,000-word book by then interspersing discussions about other books in between for the duration of this month, because I know it's going to take me a long time to get through it. But AI is helping me get to the crux of the vibe, and then I could add my own flavor to it. So the next few chapters that I'm going to talk about is the transformation of Dante's. He goes from naive sailor to a calculated count, but it begins when he's in jail. First is the death of hope, when the inspector of the prisons visits the dungeon. It represents cold, bureaucratic indifference. He tries to plead his case with the raw emotion of someone that's innocent. He expects the truth to set him free. It's not like these court cam television shows where they know, they say, see what happened was, and then they basically, like one of the guys that represented himself blamed the ex-girlfriend's daughter for raping her. He basically said she came up on me, and it basically said, and then dropped the mic. Like that was supposed to appeal to the sensitivities of the judge and to the jury. Boy, shut up and sit down somewhere. This was different. The inspector wasn't a villain per se, but he was just worse. He was a careerist. He promised to look into the file, but when at the time this was the restoration when the Bourbons came back, and then when he sees the Bonapartist label, he moves on. This is the first time that kills him to his core. He realizes the law is not synonymous with justice. It pushes him to almost starve himself to death. He really had to reach rock bottom before he could even be reborn and go on living. He meets Abby Faria, and he intellectually is reborn. This character represents the infinite potential of the mind. How can you basically set up a full-blown prison university with logic, deduction, the languages and sciences, and then a treasure by books that you make up, by stripping your linen shirts, treating them, and basically making jailhouse manuscripts from memory? This is where the dichotomy between the 18th century and now is blown up. There's no distraction of TV. There's no distraction of social media. He remembers almost verbatim the 1,500 volumes he had in his library. As I mentioned before, between 1811 is when they jailed the Abbey. And then several years, 10 years after that, they jailed Dante's. This was the period of the Bonapartist terror and the Bourbon Restoration. Anybody that was even loosely aligned with Bonaparte was a death sentence. Wealth was shifting from land-owning nobles to the self-made bourgeoisie. When Dante's transformation reflects this, he uses knowledge and liquid assets to buy status that the old world would have denied him. It's also during this era that Dumas included, where people were obsessed with the idea of higher justice outside of the corrupt legal system. Faria acts as a surrogate of God, bestowing both the word, which is education, and the means, the goal, to enact justice. This is because of the connection with the spot of treasure. Right before he passes away, he reveals the spot of treasure on the Isle of Monte Cristo. It transforms the Abbey from a madman into the provider of divine providence. It was during his time when he was free that this treasure is one of the many histories within this book. The treasure belonged to the Spada family, an ancient and noble Italian house. During the late 15th century, the family had amassed a staggering fortune of gold, jewels, and ancient coins. During the time of Pope Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia, and his son Caesar Borgia, they were notorious for their poisoning policy. When the church ran out of money, when it often did, they would appoint wealthy men as cardinals, wait for them to die, often by poisoning them, by hastening it, and then seize their estates. In 1498, the Pope invited the Cardinal Spada to dinner. Knowing he was going to be murdered, the Cardinal hid his entire fortune. He knew that if the Borgias found no money, they couldn't claim it. He wrote a seemingly innocuous will, leaving his prayer book to his nephew. Hidden within the book was a piece of paper that could only be read when exposed to heat. Cardinal Spada chose the Isle of Monte Cristo because it was deserted, rocky wasteland in the Mediterranean. No one would think to search for gold there. He buried the treasure in a secret cave sealed it with a stone, and then camouflaged the interest and wrote it all down in invisible ink on a piece of paper he put in his prayer book. For centuries after that, the family remained poor, unaware that the prayer book held the map to millions. The abbey was the secretary and close friend of the last living descendant of the Spada family. After he died, Ferrier was searching for a piece of paper to light a candle. He grabbed the scrap from the old book, and then the flame warmed the paper, and then the invisible ink and the map appeared. You can basically, the math is mathing to over 13 to 20,000 million francs in 19th century currency. This hidden treasure trope is often handled differently in stuff like the Underground Railroad. The treasure is this power. Gold is the fuel for his Kingman Club levels of influence, allowing Dantes this level of influence and to move through France as a tool for vengeance, to buy, sell, and destroy anyone that rolls up against him. And it's coming to fruition. I got this summary. I wrote this, or did the AI wrote it for me yesterday. And I'm getting to the point where basically Dantes makes his escape and gets on a pirate ship after he fakes being the dead body of the abbey in his quest to get to the island to claim the treasure and take on the image of the Count of Monte Cristo. And he's ready. He's ready to get that country buying money. He's ready to show out. Basically, the abbey basically allowed him to think through and come up with who basically would benefit the most of him staying in obscurity in this jail. Villefort, who pretended that he actually cared and he had no choice, but he was only protecting his father and his own name. The guy that quartermaster, whoever was on the boat, his old slick willy self, and then Mercedes' cousin, and he's gonna come back. Even the man that allowed his father to halfway starve to death, he's coming back with a vengeance, and I'm here for it. And I hope you will enjoy as I basically take a deeper dive into the Count of Monte Cristo. Swashbuckling, histories within histories. This book has so many layers that it's going to be really fun to take deeper dives in. And I hope you will join me as I do so. My apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime, or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? Yes, I am that person that reads stuff, and if there's no immediate image of the perpetrator, I always look up for image of the perpetrator. Why? Because it's Black History Month. I want to see us win, and when it's fraud involved, I want to see us win. I.e., this piece of crap in LA. Now, most of the time, I love California because y'all be doing the most over the top, and it seems like every day is another episode of the Real Housewives of Who Witch It. But when you got basically people like this CEO that runs LA Homeless Services, living out large and like he is auditioning for the lifestyle and the rich and famous, but gets slapped with $23 million fraud case, multiple counts. This is right up there with that kind of shenanigans. Daisy. So, Mr. Alan Sofer, 42, white man, basically was arrested at his $7 million home and hit with multiple state and federal charges. Those federal charges are going to get him underneath the clink, I hope. He basically, over several years, used taxpayer money to find that was supposed to be used to find shelter and provide 3 meals a day to almost 600 homeless residents. Instead, went to a $125,000 Range Rover, over $2,000 Hermes jacket, and a vacation home in Greece, plus a trip in Hawaii. So this fool is looking at about 20 years, and I hope he gets that plus more for good measure, because you can't win when you play dirty, and this motherfucker is the dirtiest of them all. During the news conference, the prosecutors pointed to the concerns that billions spent to combat homelessness haven't brought enough people off the streets. And then you basically wonder, every year they spend all this money, they got the highest tax rate in the country, but yet the number of homeless people continues to pile up, and the homeless shelters and the these homeless compounds are continuing to expand. What is happening? Where the money at? Because the math ain't mathing. Well, they're going in the pockets of dirty dudes like this Sofer dude. Oh, I can't wait to see the update on this, because this dude don't make no sense. And then I'm going to play for you this portion by Ronnie Nelson about how Charlie Kirk is speaking out from beyond the grave. Listen to this, y'all.
Rains, it freaking pours. You guys remember late last year, the guy named Charlie Kirk was unalive, attending some type of rally and things like that. His wife was there and he was unalive, basically. And I think I was one of like the second or third people to actually report on it moments after it happens. Come to find out recently that Charlie Kirk had hired a private investigator to look into his wife. And what they found during the investigation was disturbing. It was disturbing enough where Charlie Kirk had his wife, Erica Kirk, removed from his will and only had his two daughters in the will, or children that he has by her in his will. He had her removed from his will. And now that explains why she's doing interviews and sit down talk shows with certain celebrities, certain entertainer, influencers, and other things that she's doing, lashing out. Come to find out that Erica Kirk got caught with her hand in a cookie jar. She was definitely having an affair. Do y'all remember at the awards, or it was some type of show that they were at, and you seen the guy, the way that Erica Kirk came out and hugged the guy, greeted him, holding his hands. She had her head all pressed up against his neck. This was just days after Charlie Kirk was buried. And now a lot of stuff is starting to make sense. So is Erica Kirk going broke? And now she's doing whatever that she got to do because her husband had her removed from the will. And the only way a person will remove you from their will is if they can legitimately prove that you got dirt on your hands. And obviously, for him to remove her from his will right before his untimely passing means that the investigators who was investigating Erica Kirk found some dirt on her. So she has been removed from Charlie Kirk's will, guys. Imagine that, man. People are not who you think they are because they put on a suit and tie or a nice little skirt and some heels and look all professional and come on the cameras. That lady did not look like she was really mourning the loss of her husband when he had passed away. But now look at this right here, guys. The truth finally came out. She's a damn cheater. And that's what's going on with her. I was wondering what was going on with her all of a sudden, wanting to sit down with black celebrities and do interviews and stuff all of a sudden. It's because she's broke. He kicked her ass out the wheel, man.
And there you go. You can go on,
man, when it freaking rained.
Instagram, where I saw this threads, and look up, what did I say this guy's name is? Ronnie Nelson, and get and repeat, because that's it. That is it. It's in its entirety. You can't be when you do dirty. That's Nene Leakes every single day. And this is some mess. I'm sure there's an Erica Kirk OnlyFans page because he basically wrote her out of the will. Can you imagine if they had really good insurance and he died by a bullet and they get triple? Those little girls are rich. She ain't got shit. So, oh well. That's what you get, though. I wouldn't trust her clan mate and look and face anyways. Her, Loom, or any of them. You reap what you sow. You better watch out who you are willing to crawl in bed with, because when you lay down with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. And that's a word right there. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of unholy amount of information, ungodly information that's coming out on the reality TV world. And what better yet of using the instrumental of unholy as I record on this glorious Sunday morning. I really don't comment too much on the Real Housewives because I don't really care, but also I don't want to have to stay up so late to record sections about the Housewives if I don't really have to. And in this case, I'm not really having a hard time. Is because AI is actually helping me gather my thoughts about these women, and it helps me prioritize and take deeper dives into the shift in dynamics that makes the Real Housewives halfway watchable. It's not the same hollering, yelling mess that is Salt Lake or the darkness that became Atlanta. But it's right along the vibes of Potomac, which now they're getting ready to premiere their reunion, and I'm here for it. I'll get into Below Deck Down Under because I am really interested in yachting and creating adventurous trips for luxury yachts because through my Fora, but I'll do a second recording as far as Below Deck. But anyways, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was a real snooze the first couple of episodes. I didn't get a lot of this, but it's starting, and I really didn't want to take a deep dive because I do believe that other podcasters and other influencers, they actually are better at their commentary, and sometimes they're funnier and sometimes they're just dead ass wrong, but it is kind of very entertaining. And I don't watch Monday Night Lives for nothing. I wasn't tuning in to hear the more interesting commentary of Carlos King and Monica Garcia, which I found more fascinating than the actual Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm trying to keep. I'm only recording this part because I listened to a part of the commentary with Carlos King and Alexis Jansen, and they both had a very differing perspective as far as the last few episodes, especially this particular episode that I'm going to get into a deeper dive and trying to figure out what's going on with this Amanda. And we get it. Dorit Kemsley does not have the bandwidth, the emotional bandwidth, to be able to look at things outside of the jaded eye of someone that's going through a contentious divorce. But what I do fear is her going extra hard on Amanda and Kyle may actually backfire if she doesn't take her head out of her ass and just get her off-screen life together and seeing that social arc. Because we can't go through another cast trip with them yelling at each other. You know what I mean? And although there are certain commentators that think that Bose was out of line by suggesting that all the new girls go through hazing and she just needs to grow a thicker skin, I think they have not looked into why Bose said that, and then two, why Bose is a boss, and then number three, who and what Amanda is actually representing. Bose said that because they could have tried her when her first season, but she wasn't having it. She basically told him she is the flex and go have a seat because this little petty nonsense she doesn't have time for. Now, there has been a vacuum left by the breakdown on even the resemblance of a friendship between Kyle Richards and Dorit Kemsley. And let me go back to Amanda. They're going to keep coming for Amanda if she doesn't basically take her head out of Kyle's ass and be able to stand up for herself. She sounds like a parrot, basically reparroting everything, the deep conversations her and Kyle has had inside the confessionals and in that house that she bought and tore up. And Amanda seems all too happy to walk into this dynamic, but she's going to have to be careful because she's going to become like that Asian girl that they kicked off the show. Now she has this pouty, snarky podcast with Cynthia Bailey, Humble Brag. That's the title that's even dumb, but I digress. I say all of those things to say the enigma that is this child it basically took AI to concrete that why I did not want to agree with Carlos King just on GP, because I know that Kyle is his favorite reality star, but at the same time both things can be true. She was a great actress. I loved her as Alicia Edwards, but also her place on this show is not contingent upon everybody kissing her ass. The reality is Kyle Richards is dynamic, but she can be as shady and messy as the rest of them. And let's take a look at the relationship that wasn't between Dorit and Kyle. They went from soul sisters to polite strangers. Kyle basically became sober. She separated from Mauricio, And then she had a relationship with Morgan Wade. So I'm not on that show. I didn't sign an NDA. I'm going to keep saying this lady's name because Kyle basically restricted it. Dorit got iced out. And then now Dorit feels that Kyle wasn't being open and honest, while Kyle felt Dorit was being overly dramatic and clinging to a version of their friendship that does no longer existed, if it ever existed. The whole vibe is passive aggressive. They are no longer protecting one another in the hot seat, which is why the introduction of Amanda is so calculated. There's a lot of people, including myself, that feels that Amanda is some type of human shield or a sniper from the side. And this is why this holds water. Amanda attacks Dorit marriages and finances on the sly. Kyle can claim she has no control over what her friend says while still reaping the benefits of Dorit being humble on camera. I bet it burns her up that Dorit was smoking and did all that stuff last year while Kyle was playing house with Morgan, and Dorit became a fan favorite, and that burns her up. By bringing Amanda into the fold, Kyle signals to Dorit that she is replaceable. Amanda came in hot, taking swings at Dorit that Kyle, who's trying to maintain a zen and evolve image, doesn't want to get her hands dirty. It allows Kyle to stay in the victim or neutral role while the dirty work gets done. But who's playing with who? Let's see. Who is this Amanda Francis girl? The irony is she has a long history with the Hilton sisters even before the show. They used to call her Demanda. Let's look at some of the receipts and let's look at her social media. Before I get into all of that. People make it their profession to take deep dives into other people's social media analytics. They say she's only 65% real. This suggests that she has a lower than average authenticity score, leading to fans to theorize that she utilizes bots and to bolster her image. Wow. On Reddit, they're saying that she employs a PR team and a legal counsel to aggressively scrub negative information from the internet. There's rumors of staged paparazzi shots via Backgrid. I didn't even know that existed. And allegedly fake reviews on platforms like Goodreads to maintain her manifestation queen brand. Because the book ain't nothing but a bunch of fluff. Some fans and former clients have criticized her psychology of money programs. She has aggressive terms and conditions and scammy pricings, major red flags, and suggesting her financial advice lacks the practical substance needed for someone in Dorit's complex financial situation. That's why Bose got mad, and she was like, "Hey, girl, what you talk about manifesting? How about we manifest a business manager and a budget so we get her out of this craziness?" Dorit at the point didn't even know if she had a retirement plan. Probably don't, or he spent it and cashed it out and spent it. The conflict with Dorit suggests that Amanda's mouthpiece role is very much fueled in her desire to solidify her spot on the show. Her advice to Dorit focus on women, what women want to be, and rather than the actual bank statements, basically was to keep Dorit off balance while appearing helpful. It's just a ploy for Kyle to use this girl to get Dorit off the show. By aligning herself with Kyle's new life era, she gains a powerful ally. The theory is that she is Kyle's mouthpiece and willingness to say things that Kyle won't do because she's trying to play Miss Evolve and Miss Zen when she's still as messy as hell. And it's wrong as hell. So, the irony of all of that is, though, Amanda Sanders, a woman who has spent decades as an image consultant, literally a professional self-producer, is effectively being directed by Kyle Richards, the unofficial lead producer of the Beverly Hills cast. She is a force multiplier. She is a bossy busybody that is living out her Hollywood dream of glory by bossing everybody around like chess pieces. It's the ultimate meta-reality TV moment. The woman whose job is to control the narrative has surrendered her narrative to Kyle to secure her spot. Her entire brand, this is Amanda, is built on the art of appearance on social media. Every post is curated to her high-end lifestyle. But on Real House of Beverly Hills, she's shifted from director to lead actor in Kyle's play. Kyle provides the platform and the end with the group, the exchange. Amanda provides the vocal cords for things Kyle is too zen or too tired of the backlash to say herself. Why she gonna bring up the same thing Sutton said last year? Who are you really mad at? You know? Why can't she just be real and messy? The rest of them basically lean into that, and they clean up well, and people still respect them for being really real. For Amanda, for someone that actually sells the idea of being a boss and controlling one's image, she's playing this role of a hired gun, sacrificing her own likability to do the heavy lifting for Kyle's vendetta against Dorit. Notice that Amanda's observation about Dorit perfectly mirrored Kyle's grievances. When Amanda calls out Dorit's inauthenticity, she's just repeating the script Kyle has been writing for the last 2 seasons. And I'm not really going to touch on the missing mother and Eddie/Reed's 2 children, because that's not my kind of stick. We've not been given any dynamics of the custody situation because of privacy and legal issues, and I'm going to leave the kids out of this. Amanda's social media trail is like a series of breadcrumbs. She frequently posts about throwbacks to her long-standing friendship with the Richards and Hilton family to remind Dorit she is actually an insider while Dorit is a transplant. Wow. Before she was even on the show, she would post content about how to spot fake luxury, which fans widely interpreted as a dig at the Kimsleys' various financial legal woes. Amanda is a pro at producing herself, but she's realized that in the Real House of Beverly Hills ecosystem, if you want a diamond, you have to let the queen hold the camera. Shit. Amanda, actually has been styling folks for years, like Chris Rock and Gwyneth Paltrow. Her proximity to the Richards comes from being the go-to person for high-stakes image overhauls in Manhattan as well as in Bel Air. She often references her long-standing relationships with them and positioning herself as somebody that's in the know. She's living in Kyle's house, for God's sakes. She got the ready-made family, a missing mother. This high-stakes game of checkers allows Amanda, to become the villain and allows Kyle to maintain her new sober and zen brand. It's like she's taking on the villain role to continue to promote the fakery of the zen, not messy brand that Kyle wants to portray. Well, girl, don't be remiss in knowing is if they hate you, the fans hate you enough, you ain't coming back. I think you have enough of your own story to be dynamic. You don't have to keep being this lady's patsy. You know, but she let it slip. She's remarkable in that way. That's why I think she knows that she ain't gonna play the game too much because she's looking at the numbers and just basically probably it just seems like she in her own head she's like, girl, I am not gonna take the fall for your beef with Dorit. Stop playing me. When she let out, I was just responding to what Kyle told me, girl, that dismantled Kyle's entire, I don't know why everybody's fighting act. Because you tried to play the player. You not gonna let me not gonna throw me under the bus if you ain't gonna meet me up underneath there. She broke the first rule of being a mouthpiece. Never admit you the mouthpiece. But I think Amanda is so focused still on her image. She gonna let you use her for a minute. But she ain't staying up underneath that bus by herself. She got too much is at stake. She has to be that wealthy as fuck image, the extra mom, all the power moves. She ain't that stupid. While Kyle thinks that she may be using Amanda to do her dirty work, Amanda is using the platform to prove she can outproduce the producer. She dropped that shit. Girl, Kyle, but you better watch your back and you better get a new line or a new line of attack because Amanda is not going to continue to be your mouthpiece, girl. Kyle wanted a sniper. She got a loose cannon who's accidentally and brilliantly pointed the barrel back at the woman who hired her. This all comes down to, looky here, the inauthentic echo, PK is the better friend, the financial manifestation BS, not giving real advice. Those are just little tit for tat that I think is going to basically blow up the dynamic of the alliance between Amanda or Dorit. But these women actually have to be careful that all of a descent, they are at risk for a descent into toxicity and a lot of negativity, and which would make the show actually unwatchable. I think the same thing happened to Orange County, and a lot of that actually happened with Atlanta. So definitely happened with Jersey. So you can be sniping, you can do some of this petty, stupid shit, but don't forget to just have fun and still be real, but not be real stupid. But the blow up of this alliance, which was probably wrought to benefit Kyle and her image rebreak, is going to backfire because Amanda ain't that stupid to keep being your patsy. As I said, she ain't going up under that bus by herself unless you going to join her. So you need to get it together, Kyle. And now I can see the tendency for you to be very into your image and only back away when when those things don't make you look good. That is one of the main reasons why people, and then you have an issue with that with how your mama was. Anyways, initially I was just annoyed that Salt Lake City and Heather Gay and her on the spectrum, chromosomal abnormality unknown as, was actually on one of my favorite shows, Below Deck Down Under. Because I really dig Captain Jason. He's really, really cute. But this premiere basically was both explosive and just downright like crazy. And it had nothing to do with the drama that is the show. It's the delusion above deck with the Real Housewives shenanigans, and then Below Deck was just a masterclass on delusion. You get Ben. The first bomb was Ben. After I got over keep hearing Heather Gay scream, ah! And what's her that ditzy high body count hair, Brittany. You could get into the real shenanigans that really is why we make the show, not these hoes. But anyways, Ben gets into a culinary clash that threatens to sink the first charter. Look here. It was, I should say. The sous chef, I actually saw her on the last season of Below Deck. I think she was on, it was also on Below Deck Down Under. She actually was a sous chef to Zarina. She basically was trying to manifest herself through a 5-course meal, hoping no one noticed that she can't even sear a scallop. Ben was acting like Mary Crosby, judging everyone from his pedestal of perceived perfection and speaking in riddles of culinary condescension. Classic comparison. It isn't a partnership, it is a disaster waiting to happen. Because Ben will started using her as a scapegoat for every cold plate that leaves the Katina galley, while Alicia is one burnt sauce away from a meltdown. She basically couldn't sear scallops. She can't julienne peppers. And then she was flirting instead of wisping the hollandaise sauce that basically curdled while she flirted. She also manifested I should say, a cheesecake and didn't add in all the ingredients. She said she just whipped up the egg, didn't add in no sugar, didn't add in the rest of the ingredients that he rattled off. He basically should have said, why don't you get out a little handbook and basically jot this shit down or record it on your phone instead of posting about negative work environments. Why don't you basically record my recipes? How about you do that? When he basically just got tired, we know this is going to come to a head. It's going to be funny. It's going to be raggedy. And I am here for it. This is the type of Down Under I'm basically willing to watch. It should be fun because you know they're going to have blowouts with Joie and this head suit. I really like her. I didn't like last year's head stew on the Katina because she got on my nerves. But this one, Daisy, she's going to keep it real and she's going to keep it real funny. we're going to see Ben finally just get real still. And he's going to go up and talk to the captain. And I know that Captain Jason don't like ultimatums, but that girl is going to have to go, because I think it's going to be involved with, we can't keep her and keep me because she don't even know how to sear a scallop. Girl, really? Oh, how sad. How ultimately sad. I was just sitting here getting my podcast together, getting ready to talk about the next episode of my next section, taking a deeper dive into the Count of Monte Cristo, when I came up and I started thinking about, why are Kyle and Dorit beefing? I don't get it. Or is it some type of manufactured stupidness, which probably is partially true, but why now Dorit is gone back to her messy ways and Kyle is now trying to be the new and improved Kyle, and she's just like, oh, why can't you just comply? Because I'm right. It's crazy. It's like, aha, why did they start hating each other? For years, and Dorit says, I'm tired of protecting her. Now this makes more sense. Dorit was the perfect Kyle-produced ally. She was refined, she followed the group's unwritten rules, and she kept her messiness behind closed doors. But the new chain-smoking Dorit is loud, she's defiant, and she's Kyle's worst nightmare. She's an unscripted liability that Kyle ain't writing checks for. Their rift became clearer when she refused to play her assigned role in Kyle's New Year, New Me arc. Because while her life was literally, Dorit's life was falling apart in real time, and Kyle was snuggling and canoodling with this Morgan babe. Kyle expects a certain level of protection from her inner circle, and when Dorit started speaking her mind loudly and without running it through the Fox Force filter, she became a threat to Kyle's narrative control. Kyle has spent this season trying to rebrand herself as sober, zen, evolved truth teller. But Dorit ain't following it. She's high drama and unapologetically too much. And Kyle's evolution looks really forced and produced, and it's frankly boring. And we're tired of it. I know I'm tired of it. Kyle has somehow become the moral police of the group. She judges drinking, the behavior, the lack of discipline. And Dorit just smoking in the open is a giant middle finger to Kyle's curated, clean living image. Kyle likes secrets that she can control. A Dorit who is loud and unrefined is a Dorit that Kyle can no longer consult. It's a visual and behavioral break from the refined image they have both traded on for years. Dorit went off script. Kyle brought in Amanda to play the role Dorit vacated. Oh, that's so sad. But with a sharper edge. Amanda is the loyal version of what Kyle needs, but she's also image conscious herself. And again, she ain't going up underneath the bus unless she's going to invite you to. So Kyle may have met her match in that respect. While Kyle looks on with disappointment at Dorit's new, louder personality, she lets Amanda deliver the critique. Amanda's job is to shame Dorit back into the box, or failing that, drive her out of the group for not being in alignment. But it's backfiring, girl. self-production, and it's just, Kyle is just mad at Dorit for not being real, going off script, but she's even angrier that Dorit is too real. The messiness, the loudness, the smoking. Kyle wants produced reality. Dorit is given unfiltered chaos, and that is annoying. And they're not going to get back on track until one gives. I don't see Dorit giving, and Kyle ain't going to descend into messiness because it's just too much. But she may also be writing her own script or being put on hiatus. You know, you're no bigger than the show. Ask that old horse face, Vicky Gunvalson. I'm just saying. Kyle isn't beefing with Dorit because Dorit is really changed. She's beefing with Dorit because she can no longer edit her. Dorit's loudness is her declaration of independence from Kyle's shadow. And you can't keep calling this lady crazy when it looks like a mental breakdown. When she's not having a mental breakdown, she's actually having a breakthrough. And we are only seeing one part of it play out. And that, again, I know that has to cook Kyle's grits because she has this resigned new zen. And then it all fell apart because she ain't in the relationship no more, is what she says. And Dorit is still become the fan favorite. Vacated and now lives in the spot that was vacated by Garcelle, and Kyle held favor for years. Ain't that a bitch? Well, favor ain't fair, girl. Get used to it. You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happy you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of FAFFO has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. What, y'all? What?